Kia ora everybody, good morning, hope you're all well. Gentlemen, I'm going to go through another scene with you today. And first of all, sorry about yesterday's video. There were a few glitches in it and it was late going up because I made it too long, and so I had to cut things back. Hopefully I'll learn as I go. Gents, there's been some really great work being done on the Google Classroom page on those charts. A number of you are still behind and catching up. Just keep catching up, okay? Because next week we're going to be doing something on Google Classroom which is really quite important, and that is starting to write an essay, because you're going to need to be writing an essay on Stand By Me in your final exam for the year in term 4, so we need to practice that. So I'm going to show you where some resources are about writing essays. So on your GrammarNet page, if you take a look at my screen in front of you, as you know, about halfway down is the full video, the full movie, and underneath that, underneath the quizzes, underneath all that stuff, there is a folder, called Stand By Me. If you click on that, there's now a whole bunch of resources on there for you to look at. There are the charts that you've just filled in, you're filling in on Google Classroom. There's the teaching slides, which talk about a whole lot of things that we've talked about, so theme and character, so it's worth having a look at those. There's a big lot of slides here on film techniques, and you can test yourself to see whether you know your film techniques, your camera angles and shots and things like that. That's on there, worth having a look at. And then these are the essay writing slides which I want you to look at just really briefly. I'm going to click on those and they should open up. Oh no, I have to open them here. And this is going to be our essay question that we'll start dealing with on Monday. And that is, describe 2 important themes in the film and explain how they were communicated to you. Remember to refer to film techniques in your answer. So you can see why I'm getting you to do the work that you've done yesterday on theme and looking specifically at how particular camera shots or sounds show us these important ideas that are right throughout the film. And our important ideas, remember, are the theme of growing up, the theme of death, theme of friendship and loyalty even, and the theme of courage. And you guys will get to choose which ones you want to talk about the most. Okay, and on those slides there are also the information on how to write essays, which we've done before, but you'll keep on learning, and those are those slides, and we'll go through those next week in a bit more detail. Now, however, I want to look at the dead body scene, and I'm going to do the same kind of talking through it like we did yesterday in the viaduct scene, and I'll look at some specific camera shots and some specific use of sound, which helps us to understand the ideas and big themes that are in the movie. So here goes.
Coming through the woods, I bet we saved over an hour. Teddy?
Yeah?
This the back Harlow Road?
Yeah.
Brower Kid must be around here someplace. Teddy, you and Vern watch the left side of the tracks. We'll take the right.
All right.
There he is! I see him! Look! Look, over there! I see him! I see him!
Okay, so this is the first shot I want to talk about, because you'll be able to tell me what kind of shot is that. It's a mid shot, but remember, shots can be more than one thing. It's a mid shot and it's a low angle shot because the camera is down below and looking up. So it makes the 4 boys, or the 2 boys at the moment, look quite strong and capable. They're just about to find the body.
None of us could breathe. Somewhere under those bushes was the rest.
the rest of Ray Brower. This shot is a long shot showing the whole situation, and you can see the dead body there under the bushes. The interesting thing about this particular moment in the film, though, is the sudden use of the narrator back in again. And the narrator, remember, is the adult Gordy, and he's telling the story as a memory, remember. So to have him come back in and talk to us is quite... Well, you see what you think it does. What's the effect?
Of Ray Brower. The train had knocked Ray Brower out of his keds, just like it had knocked the life out of his body.
Jesus.
The kid wasn't sick. The kid wasn't sleeping. The kid was dead.
Let's look for some long branches.
Okay, so there are some really clever choices of shots in this little scene, and I want to talk about them really briefly. If we go back a little bit, as the boys come down the hill towards the body, this is what we see.
The train had knocked Ray Brower out of his keds, just like it had knocked the life out of his body.
Keds, a type of shoe. There's his shoe. He's been knocked right out of his shoes.
Jesus.
The kid wasn't sick.
And this is a really important shot. What kind of shot is this? It's not just a high angle shot, it's a bird's eye or an aerial shot, or you could also call it a crane shot, which we haven't discussed. I would have discussed it with you in class if I could have. But it shows all four boys looking down at the reality of a dead kid, the same age as them. They've got to grapple with it, that people die. It's a very somber moment in this film.
The kid wasn't sleeping. The kid was dead.
Now, the kid wasn't sick, he wasn't sleeping, he was dead. It's a very important piece of dialogue because it really emphasizes the reality. He was dead. And it emphasizes that reality by telling us the two things that Ray Brower was not. He was not sick, wasn't sleeping, he was dead. And now we get into a little sequence of close-up shots on the boys' faces. And these close-up shots, one at a time, from boy to boy, really emphasize for them the reality of the moment, that they are looking at a dead body, and you can see on their faces the sadness, the somberness, the kind of, the grief of death, of the death of a boy of their own age. So look at their faces. In the middle of those four close-up shots on the boys, there's a shot on the dead body's face. Very clever point of view shot to show us, remind us what it is that the boys are looking at, which is this rather awful sight, a boy of their age, dead with his eyes open. So we've already talked a little bit about two things that are clever in this scene for making us realize the importance of this moment of seeing a dead body. And that is the narrating, the voiceover, and the look of the four close-up shots on the boys' faces. There's one other really important thing. Watch and listen and see what you think. It is the thing that affects the way we feel and how we know that this is a sad and somber moment. Think to yourself, what is that?
The train had knocked Ray Brower out of his keds, just like it had knocked the life out of his body.
Jesus.
So, what do you think it was? It's the music. There is a very clever choice of this soulful, melancholic music, electronic and peaceful, but also quite serious. So the director, as you can see, has made these choices of film techniques to show us this important moment. And what do you think this important moment is all about in terms of the theme? Obviously, it's connected to the theme of the reality of death, and therefore it's connected to the theme of growing up, because the boys are seeing something really amazing that they've never seen before, and something that is sober and something that is different from their carefree childhood up to this point. So what I want you to do now is to go back to your Google Classroom page and choose 2 techniques which tell you about 2 themes, just like you did yesterday for the viaduct scene, and fill in that second box. And that's all I want you to do today. Tomorrow is Thursday. Tomorrow is Friday. And Friday we will have that very quick spelling test with those 5 words. So have a look at those as well today. And then tomorrow, after the spelling, I'm going to put on a Kahoot for you. I'm hoping to try to put on a Kahoot about Stand By Me. So that should be quite an enjoyable day with not too much writing to do. All right, have a good day.